Today on All Out Brick, we're going to be taking a look at the Vahki. We're going to build them, review them, and then give out a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. Welcome to another Metru Nui Monday. As always, the best way to tag along with us every week is to subscribe and turn on notifications. This week, we'll be building the Vahki from Metru Nui, which was released as a part of the 2004 line of Bionicle. The Vahki were essentially the police that roamed around Metru Nui. Their jobs were to ensure that order was enforced throughout the entire island. The Vahki themselves were not terrible up until Makuta ordered them to ignore the Dark Hunters that he brought in and to hunt down the Toa Metru. The Vahki were also very essential to capturing the Matoran. A harsh side effect of their manipulation was that they became convinced that the only way to ensure order was to destroy every living creature on Metru Nui. Taking a look at the packaging, we have a different canister shape than we've ever seen before for Bionicle. I like shaking it up. Each of the Vahki are presented in different action poses with a nice environmental background, and of course way out in the distant background there is the skyline of Metru Nui. Of course these are Metru Nui sets. At the bottom it gives the name of each Vahki and highlights the disc launcher that's included in each Vahki set. The back of each box has an advertisement for the second Bionicle movie, which up to this point, it just says that it's going to be about Metru Nui. And then there's a nice graphic that shows you how to put the Vahkis inside of the canister. It's nice that with most of these canister sets, the sets can fit back inside of them, and you don't have to fully disassemble them to get them to fit in the canister. Okay, so this canister has waited 17 years to be opened, so let's go ahead and open it. Looks like there's two seals. There's one on the back here, one on the top. We basically just have to lodge this top, like get it off. I'm going to use this Bionicle piece right here because, well, why not? Let's go ahead and just try to slice it open. It's not exactly sharp, kid's toy, so, struggling a little bit here. Jeez, this seal is not easy to get off. How about a brick separator? Maybe that'll open it. Oh yeah, there we go. Cut right through like butter. Let's go through the front now. All right. Gotta say, this is pretty tough to open. They say age is 7+, but you gotta use like a knife or I guess a brick separator just to open it. All right, let's pop this lid off. Boom, there we go. I love the lids, by the way. The different colors, so they match the eyes of each Vahki. That's basically what it looks like, but really cool lids. So there we go, it's open. No going back now. Ooh, nice bundle of pieces. Oh, we got a Kanoka card. Let's see, anything special on this Kanoka card? Just kind of opens up. Oh, it's sealed. I mean, duh, it's sealed. Oh, I feel like I'm going to rip it. Oh, there we go. Oh, so there's a code. I wonder if we could win anything. That'd be awesome if we could win something with that code. Could you imagine? All right, and feel the instructions in here. Pretty empty now. So there we go. Ooh, nice advertisement for Bionicle 2, The Legends of Metru Nui. In the back, sometimes we get some nice stuff in the back. I'll go ahead and flip that around for you guys. Some different graphics of the Toa. Ooh, there's the Titan sets. We'll be getting to those, I guess, after this Vahki video. Next week, we'll do Kreka or Nadiki. Haven't decided yet. There's the combination models. Those look really cool. I can't wait to get to those later. Different graphics of the Vahki, and then that's the end of the instructions. Anything on the inside cover? Yeah, cool. We have some different render images. These are from like short animation clips. They really did a great job with these Bionicle animation clips. But that's what we got for the instructions. So in total, we have a bundle of pieces, our Kanoka card, which could potentially win us something from 2004. Just kidding. And our instruction booklet. From the outside looking in, the Vahki don't seem to be anything out of the ordinary when it comes to villains, but who knows, maybe they'll surprise me. Let's start off with the base model builds. Alright, so I just finished up the Vahki base model build. To be quite honest with you, not overly thrilled with the result. They just feel a little bit basic to me, and there's some good things about them, some bad things, but as an overall, they just kind of feel a little bland, and maybe it's because the Toa Metru were so good, but the Vahki almost feel like they're missing parts. The Toa Metru had so much armor and coverings in different places, so they feel a little bit bare to me, and maybe it's just because we did the Vahki after the Toa Metru. Perhaps if it was flipped, I'd feel completely different, but they do just feel a little bit bare. However, there are some really nice new pieces that have some excellent excellent mold details. They just feel a little bland overall. One place that they excelled with the design is the eyepiece and the face design. Really good combination here between the two pieces and being able to switch up the colors very easily. I think they did a great job there. Good menacing look to them as well. And the disc launchers on this head, really good as well too. Definitely better than the Matoran or Toa Vakama's disc launcher. It just has a little bit more consistency when you're firing, a little bit faster, and maybe it's just because it requires a little bit more force when you're pushing at the back end of the disc launchers, so that force gets transferred to the disc, therefore the disc flies a little bit further, a little bit faster. Makes sense. Something else that I'm a fan of when it comes to these Vahki base model designs is that you can switch them up from being in this crawl configuration to standing up, just because that's how it works with their lore. They walk around, but, you know, I guess when they're like attacking or something, sometimes they're in the crawl configuration. So I like that you can do both here. Switches it up a little bit, definitely adds to their playability. Vahki have some good playability, some good articulation in the legs and the arms and everything like that, and the head is posable too. So there's good playability with these models, just a little bit of a downside on the visual features, like the aesthetics, in my opinion. Another thing that bothers me with these models is that the weapons do look a little bit more similar than we're used to. I know, like, we've seen previous models kind of get away with this, and it's because they look more different. And with all these silver weapons, the Vahki, it feels like you just have to look a little bit more up close to see like the true differences. They just follow like the overall same patterns across the board here, and it's just a little distracting. It almost kind of looks like from far away like they have the same weapon, so it's like, that's a little bit of a downside here. And I understand it really wasn't a great way to make extremely different designs, but like the Toa Metru had such great different designs, and it definitely felt like it was possible. They just didn't do it. A play function that doesn't work so well with them is when you're trying to twist their arms. If you twist this gear on their back, their arms will swing back and forth. This is great when they're standing upright, but when they're in their crawl configuration and you want those arms to like swing back and forth and create this like crawling motion, which is really cool, you have to reach really far under the model. It's kind of like an awkward positioning. So I feel like that could have been improved, or they could have switched it up so that it was on the backside when it was in their crawl configuration, but on the front on their standing up configuration, if that makes sense. But I mean, maybe if you have smaller hands, age of 7+ for this set, so smaller hands might be able to do it more easily. But for, you know, if you have a little bit bigger hands, it's a little tough to reach under there and make their crawl movement, but it does look really cool. The base models just feel a little bit lacking compared to what we've seen so far from 2004. They do have some nice play features, good posability, all of that, so they feel like very playable models. And I think if you were like a kid playing with these models, you'd have a ton of fun with them, and there's tons of things you can do. Stand them up, put them on the crawling, you know, shoot the disc, that's a lot of fun. But in terms of display, kind of I mean, they're pretty collectible still, but I'm just not the biggest fan of these base models. The Vahki include 2 combination models, each of which is a variant of the Vahki that's used for special situations, such as Arahi escaping from the Metru Nui archives. I'm going to go ahead, break these base models down, and then we'll get started right away with the combination builds. Alright, after 15 minutes, the combination builds for the Vahki are complete. I'm thrilled with how these combination models came out. I have to say, they're awesome. I mean, we have one that's kind of like this King Vahki looking thing, is kind of what I call it. It honestly reminds me of this boss from an old video game, Ratchet and Clank. The very first game, you face this boss, and it really reminds me of that. And then we have this other one, which is like the standing up version of the Vahki. Looks pretty cool, nothing crazy over the top. The head design's different here, that's pretty notable. There's no eyepiece. They obviously chose not to go that way. I think it worked out for this model. One thing I really like about these combinations, and I think they did a good job of, is they showed how each of the different Vahki configurations could be built out. We have one in the crawl configuration, and the other combination is in the standing up configuration. I think this was important to show. You know, you don't have to go with the one model for the Vahki. Shows their versatility a little bit more. Each of them are pretty intimidating. They definitely feel like if they went up against a Toa Metru, that would be one heck of a fight to watch. Like, I would love to see that fight, like a Toa Metru against one of these. I'm not sure. I'll have to like check in the canon if that does actually happen. I don't think it does. I don't think we'd see it, but I would love to see that fight. The articulation feels just right for these combinations. It's not like too much like the Toa Metru did with their combination models, and it's not too little like we've seen with some of the other previous combination models. It just feels right. You can move the arms, you can move the legs. Legs can move at different joints. They have the hips, the knees, the ankles. Feels right. There's not too much, not too little. Perfect balance. They're really just simple but effective models. I mean, especially when you're building the like King Vahki is what I call them, combination model. It's so simple. Like, the instructions, you just breeze right through them. It's like, wow, this is a really simple build, but this is awesome. It looks so good. It does. I think it's just so excellent. They didn't overcomplicate things. Something else they did, and I guess they avoided, was bringing too much from the base models. A lot of times when we get combination models, we'll see the designers try to bring in like the key features or some key pieces from the base models because, you know, they're trying to promote their sets, trying to say like, hey, you need these pieces. And a lot of the times that doesn't work out. This time they chose to not like include everything, and they said, okay, let's make the best combination models we can. At least I imagine they said that. And this is what we get. You know, they didn't force the twisting function like we do a lot of the times. They didn't force eyepieces or even disc launchers unless they were appropriate. And it just really just sticks well. Another cool thing with these combinations, new color schemes. The combination models continue to surprise me with new color schemes. This time we have a black, red, and green model for one of them, and a brown, blue, and white model for the other one. I've honestly thought that they were just going to stick with like the regular combination color schemes that we've seen from Metru Nui so far. They went bold and shook it up. It worked. It did. It worked. I think this works well. I don't know if it'll work as well for like combination models that are supposed to be like heroic ones. I think what we're seeing with these combinations is we're getting like more and more Rahi, so I'm not sure we're gonna ever see like Kaita. At least I have no idea. I'll be surprised. The only problem I had with the combinations is for the red, green, and black one. The legs were a little bit difficult. I'm not sure why. They were just tough to fit all those snaps and the ball and socket joints exactly in place. A little bit stiff, you know. That they fit like perfectly. So, you know, you had to really push sometimes. So that was a little difficult. It's not a big complaint or anything. It's just like a small like note of if you're building it yourself, expect that to be difficult. Overall, I think the Vahki were a little sporadic here between like what was good, what was bad. You know, those base models just felt a little bit lacking to me, I guess, compared to what we've seen so far in 2004. But the combination models, I loved them. So a little hit and miss here. I think the Vahki did do a good job of making these horde-like enemies. You know, with the bow rock, they were like these big swarms. And the Vahki are obviously like, you know, the police force kind of Metru Nui. So it does feel like there's something that you want to have in big numbers, and they feel pretty collectible. So that's good as well, I guess, from like the designer standpoint. You know, they achieved that mission. In terms of price, they're not on the expensive side or exactly just yet. Some of you guys say that I bumped these prices up because of these videos. I'm not going to take responsibility for that. Maybe it is my fault. I don't know. But the price for the Vahki in used condition are like $7 each. So that's awesome. It's like right around their release price. So if you want to pick them up used, it's not going to cost you very much. Even brand new, they're going to cost around $25 to $30 each. Again, you can get like 4 for the price of 1 brand new, 4 used, that is. So I wouldn't really recommend going brand new unless you're like, I want to get some brand new Bionicles. These are probably a good option to go for because, you know, brand new, they're not crazy expensive, at least not yet. So they are a great option if you're looking for something brand new, but you're not looking to shell out a ton of money. As for a score, I'm going to give the Vahki a 7.6. That's kind of like where they felt like they landed to me, you know. Pretty good, but, you know, there were some things that were missing, and they kind of felt meh for, like, the base models, but awesome combination models. So just in, like, that middle of the road, good. I wouldn't say, like, you need to rush out and go get these, but I think they're definitely a Bionicle set that you should think about and say, like, okay, you know, I'm looking for, like, a villain, you know. I think the Vahki are pretty good. They're on the cheaper side, too, so that helps you if you're looking for some Bionicle sets. Gravitate towards the Vahki a little bit, I guess, but overall, I just felt like they were missing something. They're a little bit forgettable for me, and that's what's going to give them a 7.6. So that's your review. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also, be sure to check us out on our website and on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Until next time, stay bricking.